Welcome back to a hurricane outlook and discussion. In this one, the main topic is going to be on Invest 90L to become potentially the first tropical storm or named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. So let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center here. In the next 7 days, they do have an area in the Gulf of Mexico, very well pronounced. Honestly has been strengthening throughout the morning and getting a little better organized, even with the wind shear. And overall, the environment is not conducive for major tropical development, but there is that window of favorability of potentially of a tropical storm. So here's the disturbance: Eastern Gulf of Mexico and offshore southeast. Invest 90L, a broad area of low pressure over the eastern Gulf of Mexico, is producing a large area of showers, disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system is expected to move northwestward across Florida during the next day or so, move offshore of the U.S. southeast coast later this week. I think that could actually happen by tomorrow. Don't know why they have it even longer than that could be. But environment conditions are expected to be generally unfavorable, they say, although some slow development is possible with the system offshore USC southeast coast. Regardless, development, heavy rainfall, and flooding concerns for Florida, like been the main topic with the weather world. So I do think the chances are possible for development. If we looked at satellite imagery here, this is the satellite, and on radar, it's really well defined, a low level center. And honestly, this is a pretty organized low level center here, just off the Florida's Tampa's code right there. So you could tell some showers and thunderstorms are moving this way, in the low levels, and then circling back in here a lot more well defined of yesterday's circulation. And I'm very interested what is going to happen as this continues to move off. How fast does it? How the environment appeals to be when this is over on this side of the Gulf? That's all questions, and I think there's going to be better questions tomorrow, better answers to these questions than there is today. So now let's take a look at one of the models, um here with the European here. All right. So in the next 24 hours, like the Euro says, a strong area of low pressure with some vorticity does come off Florida's here, but then it just never gets to really develop. Maybe into a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm off the coast. I think it's most likely to become a tropical storm. I've seen systems like this. I've seen environment conditions like these, and with these waters, they're extremely warm. So I do think our first tropical storm is coming soon. Tropical storm right there tries and develops pretty much, and then goes into subtropics and weekends. So if anything, this is like going to be a 40 to a 50 mile an hour tropical storm, maybe a 60. Just all depends how quickly it gets its act together and what the aircraft finds, and how the satellite imagery all plays a big part in this. So if we take a look at another model with a bit of a stronger feel to this is the GFS. Like always, the GFS always has a better thing, but actually the Euro was first into this, besides the Icon. So if this does become a storm, you have to give credit to the Icon model. But most likely a tropical storm does develop with the GFS, much stronger than the Euro. We'll have to see how this plays out, but a very well defined 40, 50 mile an hour tropical storm, top 60 miles an hour. So that's with the GFS model. If we take a look at the Canadian model for the latest run, this is the latest run. The Canadian has a lot of storms. I'm not even gonna lie. Very strong area of low pressure. And I mean, I agree with the Canadian, comes off, never really gets its act together, really just struggles to get its act together, and only becomes maybe a top, say, depression. Doesn't really become a tropical storm. And then you see we still have that Bay Campeche, maybe a wave's coming off the Bay Campeche. Just depends if it's a vortex, Vortmax, June 16th, be aware. maybe a tropical depression or storm hitting Louisiana. So I mean, there's just the environment is getting conducive for development, and then it has another tropical storm. This would be the C name storm hitting Texas. So that's already two named storms hitting the mainland of the United States. So the Canadian really going shockingly strong here. So that is going to be very significant. So if we take a look at the GFS here in the future, all right, it doesn't really show anything. Maybe a tropical storm in the Bay Campeche, but it doesn't really show that much of vorticity coming off as it was showing the last few days. Just maybe a wave coming into Louisiana and Texas. But then you see another tropical development right there, and then farther out, maybe another tropical storm, and even farther, maybe another area of circulation. So there's still just a lot of uncertainty, but our first main thing is going to be off the eastern coast. Then we'll worry about the rest. What about these models? They are not even ready. Okay. So now let's take a look at the wind shear environment for this quickly. And the wind shear environment pretty much, once again, not really anything conducive. There's some wind shear. The wind shear is going down, so maybe that's why the circulation is getting better organized. So how much wind shear on the other side of Florida, how much dry air will all depend. So that will wrap it up for this one, and I'll have another update later on tonight. Have a great night, you guys. See you later tonight.